I was a dedicated coffee drinker from a very young age. And I remember waking up in the morning and I couldn't wait to get that first hit of caffeine. It was a single-minded focus until I had that first cup of coffee. And then I read Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, and it changed my understanding of caffeine entirely. So there are two main reasons why we sleep. The first is our circadian rhythm, which is the cycle of light and dark that sort of guides our body's release of hormones like melatonin. The second is a buildup of a chemical called adenosine in our brain, and it's responsible for the sleep pressure. So the longer we're awake, the more adenosine builds up and the sleepier we get. Caffeine is the main plant alkaloid in coffee. Theobromine is the main plant alkaloid in ceremonial cacao. Now, caffeine and theobromine are actually identical molecules, but caffeine has an extra methyl group, and that extra methyl group allows it to cross the blood-brain barrier and work in our central nervous system. Theobromine lacks that methyl group. It works in our peripheral system, giving us a genuine lift by increasing blood flow to all of the tissues in our body. Caffeine, after it crosses the blood-brain barrier, blocks adenosine, tricking our bodies into making us feel more awake and alert than we actually are. When caffeine wears off, we feel even more exhausted because all of the adenosine that had been blocked suddenly rushes in, making us feel craving and exhaustion until we get our next hit. This is why when we stop drinking coffee, we see all of these negative side effects. We don't see that with ceremonial cacao. The difference between coffee and ceremonial cacao is really a tale of two different strategies. Caffeine works by causing craving, whereas theobromine is desirable because it just genuinely feels good. When you stop drinking coffee, it can cause all sorts of side effects, and we don't see that with ceremonial cacao. And some cacao contains a fair amount of caffeine, but at Keith's, they test the beans to make sure that the caffeine content is low, so theobromine can do its good work in our bodies. When I was drinking coffee every day, it felt like I was in a toxic relationship with a really passive-aggressive partner. But now that I drink ceremonial cacao regularly, it feels like a healthy relationship. It feels like falling in love.